Here are 3 things that people tend to get wrong about language. 1. You think you don't speak with an accent or a dialect. Everybody speaks with an accent and a dialect. There's no such thing as a standard dialect. Standard dialects are artificial creations that nobody actually speaks. If you give people a map and you ask them to draw the dialect areas and label them, almost everybody includes one area that they label as normal or average. And guess what? That happens to be the area where they're from. Everybody thinks that their way of speaking is normal because that's how they grew up speaking. But there is no normal when it comes to dialects. 2. You think that words can have only one correct meaning or one correct pronunciation. The fact that different dialects exist means that there will be different pronunciations and meanings for each word. Some uses or pronunciations might be more frequent than others, but language isn't a majority rule system. Just because there are more speakers of American English than British English doesn't mean that all British speakers should suddenly start speaking American English. A lot of people also think that the only correct meaning of a word is the older or more traditional one. But it turns out their definition of traditional just happens to be what it meant when they were learning it growing up. But why stop there? If older definitions are better, why not go 100 years back before that? Or 500 years? Or 1,000? Why not go back to Old English where the word deer meant any wild animal or lady meant one who needs bread? 3. You think language determines the way we think. Language doesn't cause fundamentally different ways of seeing the world. At most, language has very subtle effects on how we pay attention to things and how we categorize things. For example, some languages don't use words for left or right, and instead they use absolute directions like north, south, east, west, or they orient themselves to local geographic features like rivers or inland or towards the sea. Unsurprisingly, speakers of these languages are very good at maintaining a sense of orientation because their language makes them accustomed to doing that. But there are plenty of people who don't speak these kinds of languages who can do that too. And likewise, it's not like speakers of those languages can't learn words for left and right. Language doesn't lock us into certain ways of speaking, it merely just makes us slightly more efficient at those ways of thinking. I'm Danny, I post about the science and diversity of language. Give me a follow if you want to learn more.